Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So in the last video, we tried exploring how to log the objects treated by YOLO-NAS into the data frame database. So for that, we used PostgreSQL and various other techniques to log the data into the database. And right now, we need our LLM to interact with this database. And here in this video, we are going to explore how. And most probably, I will be using ChatGPT for this research. So yeah, I asked ChatGPT that how can I query the database using my LLM. So the two methods suggested by ChatGPT was to use the LLM where I can give the natural language query to LLM in English itself, and ChatGPT can convert this particular text that I have given in English to SQL, and this particular script or instruction can be converted into SQL, and the instruction can be passed to a database, and database can return the output to LLM, and the LLM can modify this particular output returned by the database and give us the answers in natural language. That is the first way, that the way we can interact with the database using LLM. The second way is to convert the LLM query. Like for example, we can use the Pythonic way. For example, you might have seen SQL Alchemy. So there is a Pythonic approach here, and you can use LLM to generate the Pythonic code, and the Python can interact with the or the ORM can interact with the database, and the database will return the outputs. So in the both ways, you can set some filters, and you can make LLM to interact with each other. So maybe even add UI to your particular application. So these are the some possibilities that we have while creating this particular system. So the most obvious result that we got to use is ChatGPT or GPT models. And as you might know, GPT models are slightly costly for our particular purpose. So we might not be using much of that. And while searching for ORM, the ORM way of approach, here we are using LLM plus SQL Alchemy, where the LLM no longer uses SQL injection. It's more Pythonic and it's more customizable. And here our goal is to create the Python programs. Like, you don't create the direct SQL inputs, you just create the Pythonic approach to that question, and the filters are all written in Python model, and it will be returning the output here. And you can see a few examples as well here. Here you have created the digital class object detection class. That is something that we have already done before, and this particular query will return you an output, and this particular output can be converted into your required format. That is the SQL Alchemy way or the Pythonic way, where the LLM can help you. So like I was saying, mostly the suggested or the best model that we can use available for us is usually GPT models, because they are quite good in converting, or in these kind of things they are really good. GPT is known for understanding human context or human language very neatly and converting them into programming languages. So but in our case, since GPT models are slightly in the costlier side, and we cannot each and every query by a user will cost us some money. We might need an LLM that works on the local machine. That's where we might need some open source models. So I need to research for some open source models as well. So that is my second situation, where I had to look for an open source model for this particular scenario. And mostly I believe Llama could be a great approach, because Llama is like, compared to GPT, Llama is a really decent model, but I believe Llama can be quite heavy for this kind of scenario. Mostly what I have seen is that the systems or the servers or the computers that we use for this particular purpose is not that computational heavy, or it's not that super GPU intense. So we might need some lighter model. So that's when I asked ChatGPT to suggest some open source LLMs for this particular purpose. So when I queried ChatGPT regarding the models that we might need for optimizing SQL queries, the ChatGPT suggested few models. Those models includes few models like CodeLlama, Viscoder, Find, StarCoder, SQL Coder as well. So out of this model, there are like really heavy models. As you can see, CodeLlama is a 70 billion model, and Find is also 34 billion model, and SQL Coder is the lightest one, being 7 billion model. That's something that we can quite use, because our use case is using PostgreSQL, and it's a PySQL specific use case. So we might be it will be really useful to use SQL Coder as our particular scenario, where we can use small inference using a CPU itself with quantization, of course. And it's ideal for ORM based generation as well, and it can work really good with English as well as question to SQL, English to SQL way. So that's a great approach that we have. And to load this model, I might be using Ollama. So as you might know, Ollama is like a Docker instance that can load multiple models in your local machine. So Ollama is a great resource at that scenario, where you want to load your LLMs into your local system. And most of these models will be quantized, and you can freely use it. So in the next video, we'll be trying to implement this using an Ollama. We'll be working on the research points that we have right now. We might be using a 7 billion SQL Coder or Find, and we will be also using Ollama to interact. We'll be using the SQL Coder LLM and Ollama to interact with this DB, and let's see how good are the results. So catch you in the next video. Bye.